Hello and welcome. My name is Colm Early and I'm a member of the lecturing team in PCI College in Dublin, and I'm delighted to be able to share some thoughts with you here today. COVID-19 has turned our lives upside down and changed so many aspects of our lives. And while we're talking here, I'm mindful of the many thousands of people throughout the world who are reaching out and caring for the vulnerable, the nurses, the doctors, the clinicians, the surgeons, the medical teams. Many people caring for the thousands of vulnerable people today. Today and globally, I believe we are all learning a new language of face masks, of laboratories, of tests, of screening, social distancing, microscopes, personal protective clothing. Who would have thought months ago that we would face into such a crisis? And yes, our lives have been turned upside down. In the work of the clinic, we are always conscious of the power of language and metaphor and symbol. And the word microscope has taken on a huge meaning for us all. Together, we await the discovery by one person, one team, one nation, one laboratory, who under the microscope will discover something new and hopefully then pave the way for a vaccine for COVID-19 and bring much relief to us all. Until that day of discovery, until that one new insight, we wait. And during this time of uncertainty, I believe that we are all under the microscope. It reminds me in no small part about the work of counselling, where people choose to come to counselling, unlike today, where we know that COVID-19 knows no frontiers and no borders. In counselling, people come of their own volition, and today we are all under threat by this virus. Emerson is quoted as saying that calamity is opportunity in working men's clothes. And while acknowledging that we are currently engaged in a calamity, we are also challenged, I believe, to learn from it. Like my good friend and colleague Mary, who insists that working with students all the time, we invite the students to learn from what can be difficult situations. We are all under the microscope of learning. You are already aware of the work of therapy. The work of therapy is about awareness. Awareness leads to change. If there is no awareness, then there is little that changes. I believe that one of the most challenging things that I face, that you face, that we all face in our lives is change. And look around us how things have changed in the past few weeks immensely. Look at how much our lives are under threat. Today, many people inside and outside of clinical work are faced with the existential questions of what's the meaning of life, of death, of my very existence, of illness and of suffering. Many are desperately seeking meaning in the midst of powerlessness and adversity. Some time ago, I met a man who was facing into his own death. And at the last lecture which Dr. Michael Curry gave at a particular workshop, he gave to his audience and he spoke about the end of life questions. He was retiring from the field of counselling, psychotherapy and medicine after a very distinguished life. And he was later going off after our workshop to go on a holiday to reflect on his life. And as he was quite ill, unfortunately, prepare for his own death. So the three questions that he shared with us. Did I live fully? Did I love well? Did I learn to let go? Michael passed away after a few months. To live fully, to love well, and to let go. Michael reckoned that the final one, this letting go, may be the most challenging for us because we all like to be in control. And look at how much COVID-19 has challenged me and you to let go of our freedom to go to the match, to socialise, our freedom to go on holiday even. In the midst of the enormity of what has happened, we can often get lost in statistics, charts, even in the news and the media. Instead, we are brought closer to those at home and those that we love and those who care for us. In all of this, we need to hold on to our own reflective sense of self and hold on to our own hopes and beliefs in order to survive. Currently, I'm reading an interesting book by the British historian Max Hastings. All hell broke loose. And he writes about the tragedy of the Second World War and the trauma that people had to endure. And reading Hastings, I feel like we are currently going through a virus war. Very different, of course. But just as he quoted in the book, could this be our finest hour as we work together through this COVID-19 crisis, as we dig deep and realise the depth of our collective resilience to stave off the unknown? During this time, I'm reminded also of the founder of PCI College, Lee McCarthy and Josephine Murphy, who together as clinicians believed in the power of one. One gesture, one idea, one thought. They believed that we are always learning, always moving forward. And I believe that we will also learn from this crisis also. This learning ethos, I think, is well reflected in the poem of Ashish Ram called The Power of One. While reading it, we think today of the people of India and of the thousands of displaced migrant workers of Mumbai in particular. So I'll read it for you now. The Power of One by Ashish Ram. One song can spark a moment, one whisper can wake the dream. One tree can start a forest, one bird can herald spring. One smile begins a friendship, one moment can make one fall in love. One star can guide a ship at sea, one word can frame the goal. One vote can change a nation, one sunbeam lights a room. One candle wipes out darkness, one laugh will conquer gloom. One step must start each journey, one word must start each prayer. One hope will raise our spirits, one touch can show you care. One voice can speak with wisdom, one heart can know what's true, one life can make a difference. You see, it's up to you. In the midst of this crisis, let us together not forget the power of one, and not forget the power within me, within you, as we cope with this change. We could, of course, become very fatalistic. The problem is too great, the gap is too wide, and it's hopeless. Today, you and I can do something, and the power of our own choices can influence others despite the social restrictions. Look around us at the courage of many to stand up to this adversity. The courage to reach out to others, the courage to check on people, to make a phone call, to think of someone, to write a card, a letter, to send a text, an email, to light a candle for someone in need. These, I believe, are the simple gestures that will enable us survive. During the week, we were managing an online training with our students, and while talking about the challenges of change facing Irish men and women today, one of the students was reflecting on the words of Macbeth. Macbeth, who speaks to Lady Macbeth, he says, "If we should fail," and Lady Macbeth replies, "We fail, but screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail." I believe that this sticking place reflects the courage of many people today. So today, what we are all under is the microscope of change and uncertainty. And we are all challenged to draw on our own courage and resilience as we journey with those that we love. Our lives have changed in so many ways, and we are changing also, and these changes may inform our choices well into the future, I believe. Now is a time to reflect, to recalibrate the core questions of our life. The core question in therapy is, well, what do you want of life, of love, of myself, of relationship? What am I learning from this tragedy around us? To all those working on our behalf, we wish them well in their work. Until that day when one microscope, one microscopic intervention, one discovery, one lab development provides a pathway for a vaccine, we wait. Let us together reset the compass of our hearts to be more accepting and more forgiving of that which we cannot change. Yesterday we cannot buy back, and tomorrow is not promised to anyone, but we live in the now. Might COVID-19 challenge us all to better live in the now? Can I wish you April showers and May flowers? May the shoots of spring and Easter hope sustain us all as we one day come out from under this microscope. Take care.